Name's Jake Riley. I've been a detective for at least 4 years, and well, I've been a rookie for at least 7. I'm a 27-year-old male, and well, I'm not really sure how to start the story off. I give you that detail, and well, most of you don't really care for the details. What you want is a story, and I'm here to provide. This story is very interesting. I've dealt with freaks over my time as a detective and a rookie, but I'll tell you one thing, I've never encountered someone quite as this person. A woman, to be exact. Her name, Octavia. She was a very interesting person, to say the least. I had a life before I met her. I lived in New York, and I kinda had gotten myself out of a bad breakup. I wasn't in the best of places and didn't really feel like New York was, well, it for me, so I decided to move to LA. LA is a place where more crime is at, and I thought maybe it might take my, well, mind off of the breakup. I met Octavia when I decided to do a side job. I was on vacation, of course, but I knew eventually I would get back into it, and I transferred myself to the LAPD. After deciding to get a little side job, I decided to, well, do a job interview for it. It was interesting, to say the least. I keep saying the word interesting, considering none of it is interesting, except for the main person of this story. But, like I said, let's keep all the details. I met Octavia, and I thought she seemed nice. We met, and she apparently works there, at the store that I was now a new employee of. She seemed very kind and gentle, but I didn't know what it was. I've been a detective for at least 4 years, and anyone who's been a detective always have somewhat of a sixth sense, where you can always detect something or even feel when something's wrong. Something about Octavia sent alarm bells through my head. I just didn't know. She seemed very, very nice and very kind, and she didn't exhibit any behaviors, but something to me that just made me feel very off about her. You always get that feeling about someone that you know somehow is not a good person, but you don't really think that, but it's there. You just know, like a simple fact, like how the sky is blue or water is wet. It's just there. You know. I thought she was pretty, and I almost wanted to give her a chance, but I didn't. It was just that nagging feeling in my skull that something was off. I decided to say my goodbyes and left to home. My new apartment was a little bit crappy, but I could deal with it. It was better than anything. It was better than just nothing. I settled in, bought some pillows, and was going to put some more furniture in really soon. The next day was my official, well, first day. I came in and did my usual. It was simple. It wasn't hard, you know. It got going once I got the hang of it. Though the one part that really didn't make me feel good about the job was Octavia. I know it feels wrong talking about her like this, considering at the time she seemed so nice, but now I know. Now I know that I was right to suspect her. But during the time I felt bad about it, but it was just this nagging feeling that something was wrong with her. She just seemed to give me the creeps, mainly because she seemed too clingy. Now, I've been a detective for 4 years. I've said this 2 times already, but it's just something that you know. You just know when something's wrong. I've been sitting there at the cash register, waiting for a new customer, when Octavia came out to me. She gave me a pastry that she had made herself. She said, "Hey, Jake, I thought you would like these." I said, "Thank you, but I'm not really sure that I want it. I'm kind of a little bit full after the breakfast that I had earlier." She said, "Oh, well, that's okay. Is there anything else that would you want?" I said, "No, thank you." And she said, "Okay." She went back to her little area, but I felt like something was wrong there. Even then, just giving her the little suggestions that I didn't really want to talk seemed to almost agitate her. She seemed like she was really trying to get close to me, and I wasn't really there for that kind of relationship. The next day, things got weirder. And when I mean by weirder, I mean weird. I was outside, laying on the bench, just thinking about how good life was with my old ex. I still thought about her from time to time. I don't want to disclose any information about her. Well, I just didn't want to be a breach of her privacy. I don't want people coming up to her and then saying this and that about the story. But I really did miss her. I really did want to see her again. I fell asleep right then and there, and when I woke up, well, the sun had been bright that day and it was really hot, so I woke up with sunburns. It was sunburns all over my skin. I felt so dumb and stupid that I had to call into my boss that I wasn't coming in for work for the rest of the day. I went home, and when night came, I was still sitting there trying to figure out a way to get rid of this sun heat on my skin. I heard a knock. I was confused considering it was 9 o'clock, wondering who would be knocking at my door this late, and especially my door. I mean, I don't really know anyone here considering I just got here, and my neighbors are not really fond of me, and my manager is out for the weekend, so who could possibly be knocking at my door? I heard a familiar voice. Hey, it's me, Octavia. Octavia. It confused me. It automatically sent alarm bells through my head. What would she be doing here? And matter of fact, how did she find me here? I went to open the door, and as I did, she came bursting in. She said, "Hey, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to show up here, all weird and stuff. But, the manager told me what was going on, and I decided to come over and help. You're not really gonna use those paper towels that are wet to, take care of that, are you?" She chuckles, and I say, well, it seems like the only logical thing to do. She says, well, let me take care of it. I have some tools here that can really help you out with that. I reject it, and then I say, no, I'm okay. Octavia, it's like 9 o'clock. You, alone, or did you just literally find me like this? She chuckles and stares at me and says, well, come on. I mean, you write your address down at the job. So they know where to drop off your paycheck. It didn't take long for me to deduce where you were and which apartment you were at, considering I just looked at your mailbox. My mailbox? Okay, sure, she looked at my mailbox and saw that I was there, but even then again, she couldn't have seen that I was in this specific building. It felt weird to me. Something about this just didn't sit right with me. I don't remember ever writing my address down at the company. It didn't make sense. Just something about this whole thing just didn't add up. Alarm bells ringing through my head again and feeling like I should get her out of here. I said, okay, well, thanks, Octavia, but I'm all fine here. She gave me a weird stare. Just empty stare. I was automatically freaked out. Being a detective, I knew what this meant. She needed to leave, and she needed to not come back here. The next time she did, I would have to call the cops or arrest her my own self. I told her, Octavia, look, I understand that maybe you've developed some sort of feelings for me, but it can't happen. It's just not how it's gonna be. We're co-workers, not like that. Not friends either. I don't know you like that, so can you stop being weird and clingy and just, do your job? And don't show up to my house anymore like that. It's really weird. She just still stared, but her stare was a little bit more agitated, more angry than it was. She just said, well, okay, with her face changing back to normal. She left and I closed the door. The whole situation felt eerie. I just sat there just thinking, what the heck is going on? I don't know if I like this. It just didn't make any sense. Why would she be here? Why would she even think about coming here? Didn't she understand how weird that was? It didn't matter. I just knew that she was crazy, and that was that. The next day, I didn't come into work because I was still reeling from my sunburns. I sat on the couch watching some TV, eating some ice cream, hoping that maybe the coldness would probably help me. As I sat there, something weird happened. I got a phone. Now, that's weird, don't you think? A phone? Really? How could that be weird? Well, here's the thing. I don't have a phone. I have a flip phone, right? So when I heard the familiar sound of a phone ringing, it caught me off guard. I don't have that ringtone. I get up and start searching the house. As I'm searching, I hear something. Something strange coming from one of the rooms. Strange sounds. I hear someone that sounds like they're having a panic attack. I open the door swiftly and say, "Hey!" But I don't see anything. In fact, I find the window completely wide open, realizing that someone had to be in here and escape through that way. I walk in the room cautiously, but as I'm approaching the window, I hear something else. Something weird behind me. I realize, crap, someone is behind me. I turn around swiftly to see someone running out in a hoodie. I chase after them, but they manage to make it to the door and get out just in time. I'm left there baffled. I look both ways outside the door, but I can't find anything. They were gone too quick. I realized that the guy that I saw was a man. It was definitely, for sure, but who? Then something clicked. I didn't really know, but it just hit me. Somehow, I didn't know, but I did know. I searched up Octavia's name and asked my friend, "Hey, dude, could you check into this name, Octavia Livy?" He said, "Octavia Livy? Sure." As I'm sitting there, waiting for him to finish what he's doing, I can hear him on the other side of the phone typing and humming to himself, and finally he gives me an answer. Jake? I say, "Yeah? What's wrong?" The voice, I couldn't explain it, but definitely I could tell through the phone he was definitely shook by something. He said, "Listen, dude, I don't know what type of involvement you got with this girl, but yo, she's involved with the Yakuza." Whoa. The Yakuza. Now, if you don't know what that is, it's basically the Japanese mafia. But the thing is, we're in America. How exactly could this girl be involved with the Yakuza? I say, that's kinda... You're playing with me, right? You're playing with me, right, Cal? He says, "No, man, I'm not. This is for real. This girl got all kinds of charges against her. Charges that haven't even been filed yet." It's insane. How did I not see it? I mean, I knew she was weird, but this? Heck, she could have sent somebody in this house to kill me. That's probably who that guy was. Or worse, she could have had him kidnap me and I would have been at her mercy. He says, "Look, man, I highly suggest you get the heck out of LA. Like, highly suggest. Look, I understand what you're saying, but isn't there a way I can get rid of her?" He says, "Dude, I don't know. That's risky. She is part of the Yakuza after all. I mean, you're playing with fire if you think you can get in her way." "Well, I think I can handle it," I respond. I hang up, and realizing this revelation, I decided that maybe I should take her down, some way or another. She's not gonna stop coming after me, so That's not going to be an issue for me, though. I can use this to my advantage, gather up the evidence I need and put her away. But that's not going to be easy, considering she's a Yakuza. If she finds out that I know, it could be game over for me. So the only way to get into this girl's life is to, well, as much as I hate to admit it, but be her boyfriend. It's the only way I can think of. But if she finds out that I'm playing with her feelings, it could be off with my head, or worse. I have to do this with caution, with good intent. Remember, I'm doing this for the sake of everyone else, not just for me. But, I mean, if she's part of the Yakuza, who knows what else this girl has done? I go back to the store, and I take it slow. I tell her, hey, look, what I said last night, I'm sorry. I didn't really mean it, you know? She says, really? Are you sure? Yeah, I didn't mean it. I'm just really scared of my own feelings, and I just think you're really pretty, and I just think you're out of my league, that's all. She says, well, Jake, I think that you're out of my league. We hug, and we just stare into each other's eyes. Mine's brimming with hatred, with hers brimming with affection. I didn't want to hold her. I hated every last bit of this. The fact that I was manipulating a girl just to get evidence on her just disgusted me. And it even made me disgusted of her. The fact that she had sent someone into my house to do God knows what to me. It just disturbed me. I spent a couple of weeks with her till something happened. My ex tracked me down. My ex, who wanted to confess her feelings for me again and try to patch things up. Now, when my ex showed up, somehow, I don't know how, but Octavia already knew who she was, even though I never told her. It was obvious she was doing research on me, investigating me even, having me watch, so whenever I walked out in public, I always had to check my surroundings, in fear that she had one of her goons tracking me down. I finally figured out who it was, but I didn't act on it. I couldn't act on it. It would seem too suspicious. It would most likely give me away. But I had to stay calm. But what happened next, I wasn't sure if I could hold my cool anymore. After my ex, her name was Alex. Alex was a pretty nice girl with blonde hair, and she really had it. I mean, really had the gorgeousness. And Octavia livid her. She hated that girl with all the fiber of her being. As much as she put a fake smile on and convinced Alex that she liked her, I knew she was brimming with hatred towards that woman. For liking me. And she knew her intentions with me, just to get me back. I told Alex that she needed to leave. I told her that, look, you can't be here. This girl is dangerous and I don't want you getting hurt. She says, Jake, come on, you're starting to scare me. What kind of person are you with right now? I mean, is she that bad? Are you undercover or something? I tell her, look, don't worry about it. You just need to go back to New York, okay? She says, okay. Whatever you say, Jake. She was being sarcastic. I knew she wasn't going to leave when she said that. So the only thing I had to do now was try to figure out how to get evidence on Octavia faster and protect Alice all at one time. But I utterly failed, at one at least. One day, I approached Octavia. I was late for a little meeting we were supposed to have, and she cooked donuts. She was a baker, so she baked a lot. I came in there and just felt funny. The air was thick with tension. Like some dark cloud just came over us. It was so eerie. Like the feeling that you have when you know something bad has happened but you don't know what it is yet. I walk over to her and I say, hey, Octavia, are you okay? She says, Oh, I'm fine, Jake. I just noticed that girl, Alex, she was causing problems for you. I know she really broke your heart, and, I wanted to do you a favor. I say, favor? What kind of favor? My heart was sinking down below my chest as she said those words to me. It only concluded what I suspected with the words she said next. I, got her off. I paid her and, she was gone. I understood that she was trying to get you back and you didn't seem all that interested in her. Don't worry, she's gone now. My heart sunk. I knew she was lying. I knew she was lying to me. Even if she did, quote unquote, pay her off, Alex would never take it. Alex was a devoted woman. If she loved someone, she would never leave. And I knew she would never leave me, even if she wanted to. I knew what she had done, but I didn't know what to do. It was just too soon. I couldn't do anything yet. I mean, as much as I knew of what she had done, I couldn't do anything to her. If I did, I would have given myself away, and I have no evidence. If I just ran off to the cops, blabbering my mouth off, I could give away everything. Not to mention the LAPD is owned by this woman. They could go back and tell her everything, just with a little bit of money that she just brings up in their faces and they sniff it like a wild animal. I would be finished. Done. She could kill me today. There was nothing I could do. As much as I wanted to kill her there, I couldn't do that. I wasn't her. I continued the act until finally I found evidence that I needed of Alex's murder. There were phone calls, phone records from Octavia's phone number that somehow went to a number that was untraceable. Now, I was able to somehow trace this number back to the caller, and, well, I found them. It didn't take too long to get them confess when I told him I was a detective. He said, "Please, man, she made me do it. I didn't want to, but she threatened my family," and I just calmed him down and I said, "Hey, look, if she's threatening you like that, I can get you witness protection for you and your family. Just tell me everything." He told me, and I had what I needed. I recorded it secretly and went back to her. She was so happy to see me, but when I got there, I just saw something in her eyes. I knew that she knew. That guy had went and told her. Even though he told me the irrefutable evidence that I needed, he also told her. But she was acting like she didn't know, but I could see it in her eyes. The way she glared at me with an almost betrayed look and hurtful. I knew that if I stayed there any longer, something was going to happen. The way she was talking, I knew she was trying to stall me. She must have called her goons over and they were on their way as I was speaking to her. She said, "Hey, Jake, where were you?" I said, "At the park," with a stern tone in my voice. She said, "Oh, really?" narrowing her eyes at me. I was just thinking, did you want to go out? Or, have some dinner here? I said, "I'm not sure. Which one?" She noticed a rise in my tone. She said, "Hey, are you okay?" Still keeping up the act, but her eyes said otherwise. I said, "Hey, look, if you want to do this here, then let's do it." She said, "Do what?" With a very intense voice. She said, "Look, Jake, I tried to warn you, but you didn't listen. Now you're in my grasp. Now you're in the world that I'm in. You can't do anything about it, Jake. She's gone." I said, well, if she's gone, she's gone. But that doesn't mean I can't put you away." She said, "And how are you going to do that? There's no evidence of this. There's no proof I said anything." I didn't even confess just now. And I know you're somehow recording this. If you are, then props to you. If you're not, then shame on you. But look, Jake, the world is very harsh. And when the world is harsh, there comes harsh people. Don't you know that? With a rage that I never felt before, I launched at her. She launched at me. We were both attacking each other with murderous intent. I knew that she was trying to stall me, and I knew I didn't have much time left before her goons came bursting through the door. But luckily for me, I called some of my guys as well. At the same time, her goons bursted in through the door while my guys bursted in at the other side of the room, saying, "Hey, put your hands up, police!" They were freaked out and instantly froze, putting their hands up, understanding that they were trapped, considering there were more police officers coming through the way that they had came in. They pointed their guns at Octavia. Octavia held her hands up, just standing there, looking at me with an angry expression. She said, "You know, I don't really like it when guys like you just come into my life and think you can just take it away. I've met gold diggers and pieces of crap like you who don't deserve to live." I say, "Well, I guess that's your fault for inviting them in." She gets arrested, her goons get arrested, and they're gone. And with her confession on a recording device, I took it straight to court. With her confession, there was no denying it. Didn't need evidence. That was enough evidence as it was. She pleaded guilty so she could get less time off. I wonder though, how many other victims have there been? The way she handled it, I know there were more. I'm searching for more victims as we speak, and well, I just hope I can lock her up for good and this never happens again. Well, there you have it. The story of how I survived that crazy girl who was somehow involved with the Yakuza. I just don't get it. I mean, how could she be involved with the Yakuza if they were from Japan? And she wasn't Japan either. She had a British accent, so she was definitely from England. I just didn't get it. She was weird and, well, freaky, and a psychopath for sure. I wonder how a girl like her got involved with the Yakuza. I'm looking into that as well. And, well, I actually figured something out. Her family, her father to be exact, is a crime boss that's somehow tied to the Yakuza. It's kind of insane, really, but we're getting evidence on him as well. And well, so Octavia, if you're listening, let's just say that you and your crooked family are going to spend the rest of your lives locked up behind bars for the sins of your youth.